You know, right now, his phone contains an entire roster, perhaps a dozen potential candidates, possibly younger, more compliant than you. However, ancient wisdom would teach you a bitter lesson. To be chosen, you don't necessarily need to be flawless. Truth be told, pursuing perfection is a direct path to failure. And here's where the enchantment begins. There exists a hidden psychology so powerful that a man surrounded by options suddenly stops noticing them. He sees only you. This isn't the trivial advice that torments on every corner, not what superficial individuals practice. This is the principle of reversed power, compelling him to forget about everyone else. And here's the uncomfortable truth. The moment you enter the race for his attention, you've already lost. Want to know why? Do you know what happens when you respond instantly faster than others? You become available around the clock. When you praise him more than the rest, you transform into fan number 11. When you bend over backwards to be perfect, you become painfully predictable. Ancient strategies declare, better to earn respect than simply be desired, but never forgotten. In the art of attraction, predictability equals oblivion. And trust me, you don't need that. Every quick message, every hello handsome, every desperate attempt to impress sends you into one basket with the others. Applicants. He looks at you like a hiring manager at resumes, and you're just another petitioner begging for mercy. This dynamic is destructive because you reduce your value to the status of one among many. The entire essence is that by playing on his field, you agree that he will evaluate you by his rules, not yours. But there's a way out. The main mistake women make is believing that by giving more, they become more valuable. More availability, more compliance, more of themselves. But psychology is ruthless. What comes easily isn't valued, and what isn't valued gets quickly discarded. But where lies true power? While others compete, you observe. While they pursue, you create. While they beg for attention, you awaken genuine interest. Because a woman who understands the rules never plays by someone else's. And you're learning these rules right now. If you're reading this, it means you sense there's something greater here. Most would settle for advice like, be yourself, or men love confident women, but you remain because you feel real strategy when you see it. This mental difference already elevates you above the rest. The difference between being chosen and being rejected isn't about being better than others, but about making him feel something that the other 9 don't even suspect exists. And this requires understanding the masculine mind from a perspective that great strategists would approve of. Men think differently than we do. We process information emotionally. They do so visually and through experience. We connect through deep conversations. They connect through shared experiences and mutual respect. This special feeling that the other 9 cannot create is called emotional attachment in psychology. And here's the secret that great masters of persuasion would use to conquer hearts. It's not about perfection, but about becoming absolutely unforgettable. Have you ever wondered why he remembers the ex who challenged him, not the one who worshipped him like a god? It's all about emotional intensity. The male brain doesn't store memories of warm or neutral moments. It stores experiences that awakened his conqueror instinct, moments when he felt alive. While the other 9 try to be the ideal, predictable girlfriend, you'll become the one he can't get out of his head. But how to achieve this without crossing the line? Be careful. I'm not talking about toxic drama or manipulation. I'm talking about genuine psychological depth. The difference is subtle, but devastating. When others tell him, "You're amazing," you say, "There's something in your thinking that intrigues me more than it should." When they ask, "When will we see each other?" You have such an interesting life that he has to earn a place in it. This isn't just a technique, it's a philosophy. You act from genuine interest in him as a complex personality, while they act from desperate need for validation. And he feels this instantly, because so rarely does someone actually see him instead of simply needing him. Men are accustomed to women who need them to feel complete. When you appear as a self-sufficient woman who wants him but doesn't need him, you break all his mental patterns. He doesn't know how to classify you because you don't fit into any of his previous experiences. The main strategy: create genuine admiration, not emotional dependency. Others bombard him with constant attention, believing this generates attachment. Fatal mistake. Real masculine attachment is born when he feels you chose to be with him because of who he truly is, not because of what he can give you. Ancient thinkers wrote, "Men usually judge more with their eyes than with their hands." In the art of seduction, this means he will judge you more by how you make him feel about himself than by what you do for him materially. Constant messages, complete availability, excessive admiration. All of this is hands. But making him admire his real achievements, respect his decisions, challenge him intellectually, these are eyes. And eyes always defeat hands in the game of deep attraction. Want to know how to do this? The male brain works through challenges and conquests. When you give him everything without making him earn it, you deprive him of the satisfaction of conquest. It's like handing out a trophy before the competition. It has no emotional value. Men value what they feel they've conquered with effort. True rarity isn't artificial busyness, but genuine selectivity. It's not capricious unavailability, but having clear standards and adhering to them. When he feels your attention is limited but valuable, your presence becomes magnetic. He can't get this feeling of being truly chosen by a valuable woman from just anyone. It's rare, precious, and therefore unforgettable. While the other 9 fight for a place in his schedule, you occupy real space in his thoughts. Because a man with many options doesn't need another admirer. He needs a woman who understands his inner world better than he does himself. And this requires something more than just technique. It requires genuine personal growth. Occupying space in his thoughts requires something the other 9 will never understand: authentic emotional strength. And here's the harsh truth. Emotional neediness is the scent of fear, and men smell desperation from miles away. Do you know the difference between a strong woman and a needy one? The strong one responds consciously. The needy one reacts impulsively. When he doesn't respond for a long time, the other 9 panic, send double messages, apologize for things they didn't do, create drama. You, on the contrary, continue living your life because you understand something fundamental. Your value doesn't depend on his response. Your emotional well-being isn't conditioned by his behavior toward you. This emotional independence is so rare in the modern world that it distinguishes you instantly. Men are programmed to be hunters, but when a woman pursues them, their natural instincts get confused, they become prey, and prey runs away. When you maintain your personal power, he can manifest his masculine nature as a conqueror, and this makes him feel alive. Ancient strategies taught, better to be rejected for who you are than to be accepted for who you're not. Why? Because the game will eventually be revealed, while authenticity generates long-term respect. And respect is the foundation of any attraction that goes beyond the superficial. When you play to impress, you establish a false standard you can't maintain forever. Authenticity isn't rudeness or lack of filters. It's sincerity in your values, clarity in your boundaries, and faithfulness to yourself while maintaining the elegance and mystery that sustain masculine interest. Here are practical strategies that distinguish an extraordinary woman from the crowd. Selective availability is fundamental. It's not that you don't have time, but that your time has real value. You're not playing at being busy. You actually have a life that means more to you than any external validation. Thoughtful responses also matter. While others respond from emotional impulse, you respond with mental clarity. Every interaction has purpose. It's not just an automatic reaction. You take time to formulate responses that truly bring value to the conversation. Genuine emotional independence is another key pillar. Your mood doesn't depend on his attitude toward you. You're emotionally self-sufficient, which paradoxically makes you more attractive. He feels you don't need his approval to be at peace with yourself. You have your own social circle, your own passions, your own professional goals, your own hobbies. Your life is so rich that he feels fortunate if he gets access to it. You're not the woman who cancels everything for a date, but the one for whom he must find space in his schedule because it's already filled with important matters. And finally, clear standards are non-negotiable. It's not that you're difficult, but that you know exactly what energy and behavior you accept into your life. And these standards aren't negotiable because they come from self-respect, not arrogance. But the most powerful strategy is creating genuine fear of loss, not through cheap manipulation, but by truly being someone who can walk away. The other 9 cling because they're afraid of losing him. You generate attraction because you're not afraid of losing yourself. Male psychology works this way. He fears losing what he can't completely control. When you're predictable, he controls you. When you're genuinely independent, he can't. And this healthy uncertainty generates emotional adrenaline that transforms into deep interest. Men are naturally competitive. When they feel other men also value you, their competitive instinct activates. It's not about cheating or games, but about maintaining your social attractiveness and not becoming his exclusive property before he's earned it. It's crucial to understand this isn't manipulation. It's simply living according to your personal integrity, where your happiness doesn't depend on any specific person. This mentality is so powerful because it's authentic. Remember, strength, authenticity, selective rarity. These are the fundamental pillars. But there's a final paradox that few women understand, and it's what definitively separates the chosen from the rejected. This final paradox is brutally simple. The woman willing to leave is the only one who truly stays. Ancient strategies knew this, and now you will too. While the other 9 cling with all their might, begging for another chance, you develop the most powerful mentality that exists, the real ability to walk away. This isn't a bluff, not manipulation. It's a conscious decision to value yourself more than any specific outcome with him. Do you know why this works? Because it completely disrupts all his expectations. He's accustomed to women who become more intrusive when he pulls away, who beg when he doubts, who pursue when he runs. But you do something that completely confuses him. You respect his decision and respect yours even more. This behavioral difference is so rare that it automatically places you in a different category in his mind. Men are used to being the prize. When they find a woman who also considers herself a prize, it creates a dynamic of equality that fascinates them. You're no longer just another fan, but an equal who could choose someone else if he doesn't measure up. Here's the practical application. When he cancels plans, don't reschedule them immediately with desperation. When he leaves your message read, don't pressure him with additional messages. When he shows disinterest, don't intensify the game trying to win him back. Instead, you do something revolutionary. You continue living your life as if it's complete without him, because it is. Your happiness, your purpose, your value as a woman don't depend on the approval or presence of any specific man. Real power lies in such phrases. I only invest my energy in people who invest equally in me. If this changes, I'll step aside without drama, simply with clarity. This isn't a threat. It's a standard. It's not an ultimatum. It's self-respect. The psychology behind this is devastating. When he feels he might lose you forever, his primitive brain triggers all alarms. The fear of missing something valuable becomes stronger than any other option he has. Why? Because there are many options on his phone, but women with true self-respect are genuinely few. In a world of women desperately seeking male attention, the one who values herself stands out naturally. Men have a special radar for detecting female desperation. They can smell it from miles away when a woman has placed all her self-worth in their hands. And this pressure repels them because they feel they can't be themselves without disappointing you. Ancient thinkers wrote, "He who abandons what is done for what ought to be done strives rather for his destruction than for preservation." In the art of seduction, this means he who abandons his own value for the sake of obtaining a specific man guarantees his loss. The final irony is that when you stop needing him for happiness, you become exactly the woman he needs for happiness. Not fan number 10, but a rare experience he can't replace with a simple swipe on his phone. He will choose the woman he could always lose. This is a psychological law, as constant as gravity. And it's not because men are complex or manipulative, but because everyone, both men and women, values more what's perceived as rare and authentic. Men want to feel chosen, not caught. When they feel you're with him by choice, not necessity, they relax and can show their best version. When they feel you need them to be complete, they feel pressure and pull away. Here's the strategy that great masters of persuasion would use to conquer hearts in the 21st century. While the other ladies compete, you conquer. While they ask, you choose. While they chase, you become the one who cannot be ignored. The difference between being one of the options and being the only option lies in understanding that real power comes not from perfection, but from authenticity. Not from needing less, but from valuing yourself more. Not from games, but from living by principles. But this transformation requires real inner work. It's not just a technique, it's character development. It means creating such a rich and meaningful life that no single man can be the center of your emotional universe. It means developing passions, goals, friendships, interests that fulfill you regardless of your romantic status. When you have this, rarity and self-respect aren't a game. They're your natural reality. A complete woman seeks a man not to fill herself, but to complement herself. This mental difference separates women who maintain healthy and long-term relationships from those who live on constant emotional roller coasters. The transformation begins when you realize you don't need to be the most beautiful, youngest, or most compliant woman. You need to be the most authentic woman, the most complete, the most aware of your own value. And this version of you has no competitors because it's unique. The uncomfortable truth is that 90% will read this and change nothing. They'll continue competing, asking, pursuing, hoping that superficial techniques will solve deep self-esteem problems. If you're among the 10% who truly implement this mentality of genuine strength, you're on the path to something special, because the next level of this psychological strategy requires women who understand that real attraction begins with the relationship you have with yourself. Remember, he doesn't choose the best candidate on paper. He chooses the woman who first chose herself, the woman who doesn't need his validation to know her own worth, the woman who can leave, and therefore she's the only one he wants to stay with. This is the difference between superficial techniques and real transformation, between temporary tricks and genuine power, between being one of many and being truly irreplaceable. Real power cannot be faked. It's built from the inside out, day by day, decision by decision. And when you have it, you don't need to chase anyone. You simply live your extraordinary life, and extraordinary people naturally gravitate toward you. In the end, the most powerful strategy isn't technical. It's becoming the woman you yourself would respect. When you achieve this, attraction stops being a game you play and becomes the natural result of who you are.